Right, we've taken apart the PC. We've got some photographs of what the components are inside. Now it's time to do something with those pictures. If we're struggling to get the pictures that you've taken in groups on your phones onto the PC and shared, don't worry about that. I'll explain how you can use the images that I've taken. So we need to use them to create a presentation to show what components, or the common components contained inside a computer system. So we're going to be using Google Slides on the screen as an example of my first slide. You can do anything you want, make yours look as interesting as you wish. The more interesting, the better. People will want to look at it. So it needs a title, and I've just called it Inside a Computer. It needs a name, and there is an image from a Google search of Inside a Computer. So there's my first slide. Then we move on, and what I would like you to do is to produce a presentation that identifies the components, but also identifies what human body parts would be similar to the component of the PC. So in this case, I've got a picture of a skeleton, I've got an image of a PC in a case. That's the PCs we took apart last week, and a description. In this case, the case acts like the human skeleton. It protects the components inside. So a brief description of what the component does. The case, for example, is going to be very brief because it literally does just protect the components so they don't get damaged. As you move on, the description of the component may become a little longer and a little more technical. I'm going to show you on this presentation the slides that I think you need in order to complete this piece of work. So we're starting with a computer case. Next, we identified the power supply, and I've given you a clue as to which human organ or body part acts in a similar fashion to the PC component. So in this case, the power supply is like the heart, pumping blood, pumping oxygen, okay, around the body, keeping you alive. The power supply keeps the PC alive. So you're going to get pictures of a PC, of a power supply, and you're going to put your own description. Next, hard drive, and we talked about this last week. It's where things, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets, whatever it might be, are stored long term. So the hard drive is like your long-term memory. We also discussed RAM, or random access memory, and this is where data is stored for a short term while you're working on something. Okay, it's stored in random access memory. Next, we've got the central processing unit, and that acts like the brain. It's the thinking part of the PC. It performs calculations, etc. Next, the motherboard. Well, it's similar to the central nervous system of the human body in that everything connects to the motherboard, and it controls what peripheral devices do. It sends instructions around the computer. And then we've got the heat sink and the fan, okay, and that is like a receiver inside the brain, okay, that controls temperature and stops the body from overheating, or that receiver in the brain stops the body overheating, okay, and the heat sink and the fan help the PC. Next video, I'll go into some detail about how we put these images together.